Hello, welcome. My name is Anne-Louise Sterry, and this is TV Toastmasters. I'm glad you're back with us again. My show is called Audacious Joy, and today I have a very audacious woman with me to interview. Her name is Beth Genly, and she is a Yale-educated nurse midwife who has now retired. And in her retirement, she has come to something about burnout and stress. And she has written a book called Save Yourself from Burnout, a system to get back your life. And she's going to talk with us about a little bit of that today. Welcome, Beth. I'm so glad you're here.
Anne-Louise, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you.
So I have some questions for you about this.
Please,
okay.
Carry on.
Good. So we have stress, and then we have burnout.
Sure.
So tell me about stress, and then we'll talk about burnout.
Okay, so stress is a condition of life. It's just how it is to live and exist and work and be a parent or be anybody. Mm-hmm. And it turns out that some stress is a really good thing. Some stress is what motivates us to move forward. When you're hungry, you look for something to eat. When you're ambitious for promotion, you do a little more work. Whatever it is, that kind of stress is very valuable and helps us build our characters and build our careers and just function in the world, right? Mm-hmm. But it turns out that there's sort of an optimal level of stress where we function really, really well. Mm-hmm. A little bit of a push from stress is incredibly helpful to get us moving forward. Over that top, over the sort of peak there, as the stress increases, our performance declines. So we end up, the more we push ourselves, the more stress we're dealing with, the less chance we have to recharge, the more distressed we get.
So tell me, how do you know about this so intimately?
So I went through full-flown burnout, not once, but 3 times. So I went through it in graduate school, and again as a nurse midwife, and I pushed myself for a very long time, not wanting to believe that's what was happening, because I adored my work. I absolutely adored being a nurse midwife, but I became so fried, and there's kind of 3 parts to burnout. There is emotional exhaustion, which is kind of a more than bone deep, it's soul deep exhaustion, because you've just given and given until there's kind of no emotional resources left. And then the second piece is cynicism or disaffection or backing away from work that makes you more isolated and probably more cranky and more difficult to be around. And then the third part is, then this part doesn't always happen, but it certainly happened to me. You get to the point where you wonder if something you're doing that's incredibly worthwhile actually has any value at all. And I sat in my office feeling so fried, teaching student midwives and taking care of women in labor, which used to be my passion and my joy, wondering if I was making any difference. And that wasn't me talking, that was the burnout, because my stress level had long ago passed optimal and gone into nuts.
And so I'm guessing that when you get to this place of burnout, you're not having much joy or fun or...
I'm sorry to roll my eyes at you, but
keep rolling, go.
I was always a very serious person. I remember when I first met my stepmother when I was about 10. Well, I don't remember this, but she told me years later that she wondered if she'd be able to like me because I was such a serious little person. And I took that sort of seriousness and then became ambitious at work and very, very dedicated to what I was doing, and also had family with high needs, family that needed my attention. So, you know, things pile up the way they do in life. And I forgot how to have fun altogether. I just completely, there were days that I didn't laugh. There were days that weeks that I didn't smile.
Oh my goodness,
you know?
oh Beth.
And I finally realized that that was terrible.
Yes,
right?
I'm glad you realized that, yes.
And it's been one of the most challenging parts of my recovery from burnout, and kind of the latest thing that I'm really getting into, because as I talk to more and more people about burnout and about stress and about adult life, and I say, you know, I'm beginning to learn how to put the fun back in there. Like, tell me more.
Yes.
I want to know this.
Yes.
So I'm pretty excited about that.
So you are learning to put the fun back in your life and have
Yes.
more joy. And since I
Yes.
talk about audacious joy, I am so really glad to hear that, because in my view, that's really what it's all about, and
Yes.
nothing else.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, great.
So tell me some more tips about how do you help people do this.
Okay.
And your book, you told me that you met a woman at Toastmasters,
Right.
who you partnered with, and then you came up with this system, which is an incredible story in itself. So
Yes.
talk some more about that.
Okay, so this is the book. It's called Save Yourself from Burnout, A System to Get Your Life Back. And Dr. Marnie Loomis and I wrote it together. We developed a system to help people fight burnout and not go back into burnout again. And that's what the book is about. It's full of worksheets and questionnaires and charts and diagrams that you can make for yourself so that you can personalize the system to yourself and pull yourself out and just not go back there.
And you have found more joy doing this, right?
Oh, it's been really fun.
Yes.
It's really a passion of mine now because burnout is so common. It's so common.
Before you give us your tips for the tips you're going to give us about overcoming burnout, tell me again, what does it look like? Not just that you're over the top and you're stressed, but what does it look like in a person? Like, how would you know if I was burned out?
That is such a great question. So let's go through the three parts again. The first piece is emotional exhaustion. So if I'm sitting, and a lot of times people with burnout are still trying to work, and they're still trying to pretend to the outside world that they care and that they have energy and all that. But if I'm sitting here on the inside feeling like I haven't got another way to possibly care about you in labor or whatever's going on, whatever it is that I do, and I'm pretending that that's not the case, what does it look like from the outside? It looks like crankiness. It looks like I don't care. It looks like I'm short with you, that, I answer questions in kind of a very perfunctory way. People see this a lot with their healthcare providers. They say, I don't like that doctor or that nurse because they don't treat me very well.
I've had that experience.
We all have, I think. And burnout is so prevalent in the healthcare field. And what we're seeing is people who are trying desperately to hold it together and to do what they have to do. And the relating to people part, especially with the pressure they're under, they lose that piece. Then on top of that, you become cynical and disaffected, frustrated. And again, if you're cynical, disaffected, and frustrated, you're not going to be great to be around.
Right.
And then if you're even doubting that what you do is valuable and will make a difference, it's a miserable, miserable, miserable state to be in.
So
I swear.
Tell me your 3 tips.
Okay.
I'm really wanting to know.
So quickly, my 3 tips are, first of all, make sure that the fun you choose is your own.
Oh.
Because, and I have a little story about that, which is I was still in the process of trying to figure out what fun was for me, and I talked to some women that I was just getting to know, and I said, I really want to start going to classical music concerts again. And they looked at me with this expression like, that's not fun. And I was such a wimp at that point that I just said, well, I guess it isn't. So so one of them invited me to go to a beer tasting fundraiser for a cause that we both very much believe in. And I like beer fine, so I thought that'll be okay. And this is a good friend of mine that invited me. Well, it was noisy, it was loud, it was crowded, there was nobody there I knew but her. She is a complete extrovert and just plunged into the crowd and had a blast. And I ended up sitting on the curb outside texting because I just couldn't deal with the it just wasn't my thing.
It wasn't your fun.
Right, exactly. And then later on, I got a chance to go to a concert with a girlfriend of mine, and I was in bliss the entire evening. Just bliss, right? That really is fun for me.
So make sure it's your own fun.
Make sure it's your own fun.
Second point.
So the second point is that you want to opt out of the happiness rat race. And and what that means is that our entire culture, all of us believe that I will be happy when I succeed.
Yes.
I will be happy when I succeed, when I
Yes.
get that promotion, when I
Right.
get that degree, when I
Right.
have this baby,
Right.
when my kid graduates, whatever it is, then I'll be happy.
Right.
And indeed we are for a moment. And then it's
Yeah.
over and we're not happy and we're waiting to hit whatever the
Right.
next goal is.
Right.
It turns out that the science is very clear that you succeed when you are happy.
Right. Not the other
Right?
way around.
Right? So making your own happiness a priority and figuring out what that looks
Right.
like and believing that you are serving the people you want to serve by making your happiness a
Yes.
priority, that's a really valuable thing.
Okay, now we have a very short amount of time, but I want you to tell me your third tip, and I wish we could talk about this all night, and I think the audience wants to know all about this more, but tell me your third tip, and then I'm going to ask where we can find out more information.
So the third one is self-care, because
Okay.
if you're exhausted, if you are way pressured, it's really hard to enjoy anything.
Yes.
So making a priority of your self-care makes it possible for
Yes.
you to enjoy the moments, and that's what you
Right.
want to go after is the moments.
Of course, the moments, which means that I have to go to bed on time since I have to get up early. That's self-care. Okay, I'm getting it. Now, Beth, tell me, where can we find out more about this?
So I have a website called burnout-solutions.com, and I will be doing, I am doing a bunch of free content, including on finding more fun in your life and many other things related to getting out of burnout and staying out of it. So when they go to that website, they can find out, anyone that went would
Right.
find out how to get hold of that free content. I'd be very
Okay.
excited for that.
Thank you so much for coming, and I really enjoyed talking to you, and I want us to go and have fun together.
Woohoo, let's do it!
Thank you all for watching. Once again, this is TV Toastmasters, and our guest was Beth Genly. I want to say gently, but that's wrong. It's Genly. And my name is Anne-Louise Sterry. And I hope you come back again and see our show, my show, Audacious Joy for TV Toastmasters. Ciao.
I joined Toastmasters to improve my speaking, listening, communication, and leadership skills.
Toastmasters gave me incredible confidence,
Confidence,
Great listening skills.
poise,
great leadership skills.
Leadership skills.
the ability to speak in public,
Strength. A captive audience.
quality feedback from the more experienced Toastmasters.
Toastmasters really helped me improve my listening skills.
Sales skills.
Opportunities to go to different groups and widen my whole horizon.
Toastmasters has given me a more focused me, and I'm a much better listener. Toastmasters is fulfilling.
It's a great place to fail your way to success.
Wonderful way to meet people. Networking.
Strength. It's addictive.
It's a club of self-improvement.
It's an experience, it's a ride that you won't forget, and you'll enjoy it every step of the way.
Toastmasters helped me land a kick-butt job. I sang at one of my table topic speeches, and people liked it and applauded.
My business is doing great, and I'm very, very grateful to Toastmasters.
It's been a great experience for me.
Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmasters, for giving me so much confidence.
Thank you, Toastmasters, for everything.
Good evening and welcome back to TV Toastmasters. Tonight we're going to be talking about art and the role of art in building a strong economy. Along that, we are lucky to have with us Trieste Andrews, who's with the Three Rivers Artists Guild right here in Oregon City. So to kick off the conversation, let's get to work. Thank you, Trieste, for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. Thanks, Michael.
So tell us what the Three Rivers Artists Guild is.
The Three Rivers Artists Guild has a membership of around anywhere from 125 to 140 members. We're a totally volunteer, nonprofit, 501c3 organization. And our mission, to put it in just a few words, is to promote and encourage the arts in Oregon City and the extending areas in that. We do have a gallery, and it's just a way to support artists and also to support the community. There's other art groups in town that we try to partnership with and keep in touch with. And so it's been a great asset and kind of a great gift to Oregon City.
So we have 125 commercial artists here in Oregon City.
Yes, local artists at reasonable prices.
Okay.
Every 2 months, our artist gallery is located in Singer Hill Cafe. We're working on our name recognition as the Three Rivers Artists Guild and Gallery. We call ourselves TRAG for short, and that's what you'll hear a lot as I talk about it. But we are located in Singer Hill Cafe, which just got voted Best Oregon City for places to meet. So if you come on down for a cup of coffee or have lunch, make sure you come and see us. Every 2 months we rotate our artists, and we have just about everything. Ceramics, 2D art, pottery, sculptures, and pretty amazing art from some really wonderful local artists.
So how did Three Rivers get started?
It got started way before, not way before me. I've been with the Guild for probably about 5 years now, but in 2007, there were a group of artists that got together and decided that would be a great thing to put together in Oregon City. And they formed an organization, and they put their bylaws together, and within that first year, they had done 3 art shows. In 2009, we got into there's a little bookstore, Friends of the Library on Main Street in Oregon City, which is an amazing little used bookstore, and we had a little corner of it. And what we did most of the day was read books, because that's what people came in for. And then we had an opportunity to lease the space over at Singer Hill Cafe, and that was just an amazing opportunity. So in 2015, we moved over to the Singer Hill Cafe, and that same year, we got our 501c3 designation. So that was 2015 was a pretty exciting year for us.
So the mission is to promote the arts in Oregon City.
Right.
And promote artists. So how do you do that?
Well, we do some other different festivals and events throughout the year. There's small events and then large events. Our 2 largest events of the year is the Oregon City Festival of the Arts that takes place the second weekend of August every year. There's 65 juried artists, there's all-day entertainment, there's local food vendors that come in, and very family-oriented. We even have geeks and games that join us, and it's kind of we use a lot of partnership with a lot of people in town. We try to bring our community together with that. The other event that we have is the Holiday Show. That's one of our most successful shows that takes place over at the Pioneer Community Center, and that involves probably, I think about 100 to 150 artists. Again, this art is all unique, all one of a kind, all creative, and also always very reasonable. The other thing we like to do too is that whatever money we put together is to kind of help the schools. We've given donations for school supplies, art supplies. We've partnered with End of the Oregon Trail Interpretive Center. So in our events, we're always trying to bring in community members, and Chamber's been a great supporter of us also.
So you talk about school supplies. I mean, do you do active work with kids who may be exploring some of their artistic talent?
No, some of our Guild members are mentors in the Oregon City High School, so they're kind of a great support for us, that they'll, can kind of get involved with the kids in the art. We have tried, and we are, would like to bring the high school group in. So because we're totally volunteer, all of our hours from all of our members are always donated and squeezed in between family and full-time jobs. So, but that is one of our ideas, is to try to bring Clackamas Community College students in, bring in the high school kids, and we've tried that through our festivals, just to see if they would like to do different projects with us.
So you're trying to create environments to draw people in to see if they, if this is something that they want to pursue, even just for fun,
right,
for personal satisfaction.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. I believe that art can join a community together. I mean, that's a great way to bring a community together and do something fun and exciting and change a culture in a city. So, we're kind of always out there, getting in touch with downtown Oregon City or the Heritage and the Tourism Club or the End of the Oregon Trail Museum, and trying to be a part of that and support them as much as we ask their support. It's one hand helping another. It's Chamber. Let's get to work, right, Michael?
Yes, yes. So let's talk about you personally. How did you get, what kind of art do you produce?
I am mainly oils. I love my oils, painting.
Oil
Yep,
painting.
2D painting. When I need to do something really quick, I go to my acrylics because they dry a lot faster, but I always go back to my first love, my oils. I've painted ever since I can remember, and I'd always have some painting in the corner of whatever room, whatever apartment I was in, you know, working on it.
What inspired that when you were younger? What?
Oh, I don't even know. I can remember, you know, doing paintings of my dog.
Artistic family, or?
Well, my twin sister is an amazing artist out in Connecticut, and she's been a great inspiration to me. She put together an art cultural center in her hometown, and she is always, you know, inspiring me to, like, why don't we do this in Oregon City? Let's have let's have an art cultural center.
Yeah.
Let's take an old building and renovate it and make it an art cultural center. So she's been a great inspiration. Yeah.
So we talk a lot about the role of arts in economic development, and the role that, you know, the creative class and millennials are not going to move to an area unless there is a vibrant arts culture.
Right.
So talk about what, you know, do you guys talk about like how you can do that, incorporate it in promoting Oregon City?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. What I've heard is statistics are showing that the two most popular places to move in Oregon is Happy Valley and Oregon City. That's why our traffic has gone crazy, which is a good thing. But there's a lot of millennials moving in, and I think they're looking for that. They're looking for a community where their kids can get involved, where they can get involved. I, in fact, have a rental house. One of my potential buyers loved my house because I have a 6x16 shed, and he's an artist, and he wants to use that 16x16 shed for his artwork. So that, you know, you see that another potential buyer I had was a yoga instructor. She wanted that 16x16 as a yoga studio, and even through the members of Thrive, Thrive Yoga, who is thinking about a 600 square foot yoga studio now. I think that brings excitement into Oregon City and does bring people in their 30s into a place. And I know that art changes a culture, and I've seen it change Oregon City. Even our own art guild over the last 5 years, I've seen the age range really start to bring a lot more younger people into the art guild than there ever has been. Our vice president right now is a graduate student with Marylhurst University, which I think has a problems, but she's changing with that. But that's there's a lot of young blood. Our president, someone in their 30s.
So if someone were interested in learning more about the Three Rivers Artists Guild, where do they go?
Well, we have a great website. In fact, we've really kind of revamped it and made it very, very simple to get into. So it's the Three Rivers Artist, that's singular, Three Rivers Artist Guild.com. And if you go on there, you'll find all of our events. You'll find opportunities to volunteer and opportunities to join. Because even if you decide not to be in a gallery or a festival, we're so networked with Clackamas Art Alliance, with the Regional Art Cultural Center, that you'll receive 1 to 2 notifications every week of where you can go for a festival, what you can be involved in, where you can sell your art. We also have a meeting every second Monday of every month at the Pioneer Community Center, where we will have workshops. How do you set up a booth? How do you price your art? How do you market your art? How do you use Instagram? So it's really a great educational kind of opportunity with the art guild.
So it's not just about promoting art, but you're actually working with the artists on how to develop their own business to market their art.
Right,
and reach
right.
larger audiences.
One of my favorite workshops we recently had was how do you set up your Facebook business account? How do you set up a business? How do you set up an event? How do you boost that event? How do you get your artwork? Another one was Instagram. How do you get name recognition as an artist on Instagram? So those are priceless, and they don't cost anything in our art guild. It's all free.
So when they become a member, it's just, these are free offerings.
Right, free offerings. Come at the second Monday of every month. You can even come to our meeting second Monday of every month for free. You don't have to even join, just to get a flavor of what we're all about.
So you're just this community resource out there doing for the love of art, doing it because you recognize that there's a need for business development for the artists in our community. And so you're creating community within a community to support the art.
Exactly.
That
exactly.
sounds fantastic. So,
Right.
so what's next for Trieste? I mean, right now you're running this organization, yes, yeah.
I'm kind of in charge of public relations and events, and I always have all kinds of crazy ideas. I'm always connecting
Okay, tell us,
to
what's
art.
one of those crazy ideas?
One of the crazy ideas is I was just in Texas this past week and talked to an artist where they have a chalkboard festival where they get the whole town involved. I mean, kids and shops and restaurants, and they do chalk artwork on the streets and on the sidewalks, and some of these are 3D. They're the realistic, deceptively real, like as if you're going to step into a hole, but really it's a picture on the sidewalk. And it's done with chalk that can be easily washed out. What if we did that in Oregon City?
Oh my God, well,
You know, what
let's
if we
get
did
started on
that?
that.
I know.
Let's get to work on that. So
Yeah.
obsessed.
What if we took an old building and renovated it and made it into an art cultural center? I think these are all possibilities.
Well, I thank you for joining us today. Trieste Andrews, working really on building a better economy here in Oregon City through art and through the Three Rivers Artists Guild. I'm Michael Brand. Let's get to work. Thank you once again for watching the program.
Thank you, Mike.